And so if Judas would have just not isolated himself after betraying Jesus, the story could have took a whole different turn, right? One that echoed like grace and redemption and resolution, right? And so Judas was filled with remorse. It tells us that he was filled with remorse in Matthew 27:4. It tells us that he confessed. It tells us that he didn't even want that silver anymore. And so all he had to do was stay connected to community, right? That's all he had to do was stay close by the disciples. And, somebody probably saying, yeah, but they would have probably been mad at him and didn't want him around. But Jesus would have said, no, forgive him and keep him close, right? Because the one of the guys that was coming to take Jesus, Peter cut the ear off, and Jesus put the ear right back on, because he's filled with compassion and he's filled with love, and he's, filled with forgiveness. That's just who he is and what he's made out of, But instead of seeking forgiveness from the one that Judas betrayed, he went and he withdrew, from everything and everybody, and that's how he became unalive. How he unalived himself, in that aspect. But imagine if instead that he would have stayed close to the disciples, like I said. If he would have just stayed close to the disciples, he could have sought out forgiveness from Jesus once Jesus returned. He still had an opportunity to seek out that forgiveness once Jesus returned, because it was already told that Jesus was going to return, right? Peter denied Jesus 3 times, and Jesus forgave him, because that's just who Jesus is, okay? And if Judas would have just not isolated himself, he might have experienced the same mercy that Peter experienced